everyone, Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs. Welcome to part 2 of hats. So the other day I did a video. I received the new Cricut Hat Press and I did a video and got it all set up, opened it up, set it up, and made my very first hat. And this is the hat that I made, and it says Be Kind. This is a design available through Paper Closet Designs. And it worked good, and I learned a few things, and I made a few mistakes, and we fumbled through it. So if you want, you can go back and watch that video, and I will put a link for it down on the bottom. But we did learn some things. So then I turned the camera off, and I made me the hat that I'm wearing right now that says Stars and Stripes Forever. And this one I thought turned out really, really good. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things about this hat and the material, or the vinyl that I used. And then I've got 4 more that we're going to do today to test out some different types of hats and some different types of material. So I will show you those here in just a second. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to flip the screen around and we will get started. We are ready to go ahead and get started, but let me show you this hat first that I made the other day and what worked and what didn't. So the vinyl worked really well. It stuck down really good, and it even worked over the seam. But first I should tell you, this is a hat that I bought off of Amazon, and it didn't really have an ingredients list. It just said that it was, wool and acrylic, and yeah, I think it said wool and acrylic. And so I used the polyester setting, and it worked pretty good. I had a couple of spots where it didn't stick, and I had to go over and do it a second time in those 2 spots. But everything is down now and works really well. The thing that I didn't like about this was my line around here. This is more of a design error. I just think it should have been a little bit thicker. And then I think I would have liked this really well. So that is that hat. Then I did this hat, and I am loving this one. So this again is another Amazon hat, and the vinyl that I used, if I can show it to you, was the Strong Bond holographic sparkle iron-on, and it's from Cricut, and I used the blue and the red, and I absolutely love how this went on. I did this with the polyester setting, and I followed the app, which we're going to do today, and it worked great. I had one little spot that on that star that I had to go back over and just heat up a little bit, but I think that was because I wasn't moving it enough, and it worked beautiful. I love this hat. This is probably what I'm going to wear to the parade and the beach and everything we're doing over the 4th. So today I wanted to start off and show you some hats and some new products. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to start off with this hat. Excuse me. And this is actually a Cricut hat. It's the gray Cricut hat. And then the stars, whoops, I've already cut everything and weeded them. The stars are all cut using the Cricut Everyday Iron-On mesh with the star cutouts. And they have 3 colors, red, white, and blue. And I got all 3 of them. And I really like them. So let's start with that. So this is the only Cricut hat I'm going to actually do. And then we're going to try some others and see what happens. So the first thing we want to do is I've got my heat press over here, and I've already turned it on. And we're going to take this hat off, and we're going to put it on the hat form, just like I did before. Oh, first off, you want to, very important, you want to take out any of the cardboard or liners that are in there, and then flip out this sweatband. I'm going to see if I can move this up just a little bit so it's, there we go. Take out that sweatband, and we're going to put that on the hat press. Keep it nice and firm. And then I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to cinch up the back. These are nice hats, these Cricut hats. Some of the ones I'm going to show you a little bit later are not near as nice as the Cricut hats. So there we go. nice and tight and ready to go. So let's get our app out. It's going to take me just a minute to get to it. Okay, and we are going to start a new project. So the transfer material that we want is the iron-on mesh. And then instead of finding a blank, we're going to just come down here to where it says Cricut blanks and hit ball cap. And now it's all ready to go, so I'm going to hit next. And it tells us we need to preheat our hat for 5 seconds. Then we're going to press it for 60, and then we're going to do a cool press or a cool peel. Now this one is the only one I'm doing today, but it has multiple colors on it. So I'm going to start with the first one. We're going to just lay it down right on there, and then I need to get my tape. I have some of this already ready to go. Oh, whoops, I forgot. We're going to heat it first, right? So I'm going to put the hat on there. I'm going to push. And then once it's heated, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but the light is blinking that it's heating up. And it says we're almost there. Okay, now it's ready. The lights turn green. The lines down here have turned green. And we are going to put it on our hat. And we're going to push this button. I'm going to call it a play button. That's kind of what it looks like. We're going to push that. And it's actually going to time it for the 5 seconds. I don't know if you can see on my app. So now we're done. And now I'm going to tape this first star right on there. And this tape so far has been able to be reused a couple of times. So you'll definitely want the tape so that this doesn't move. And you want to make sure that your design doesn't have any bubbles in it, that it's holding completely flat. And I'm actually going to cut a little bit of this transfer paper away because it's hitting the cap. As you can tell, these don't take a whole lot of vinyl. They're really small. Cricut does recommend that your image is no taller than 2.5 inches on these adult hats and no wider than 4.5 inches. Okay, so now we've got it. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here, and I'm going to push that green button again. And then we're just going to roll it back and forth. And I actually lost my, there we go, my feed. So we're going to roll that back and forth and watch this. And I am putting a little bit of pressure on there. I'm not like pressing down super hard, but it does have a little bit of pressure. And I'm just holding the bill of the cap to keep it steady. You could also hold the handle, whichever. And we'll just keep going and watch that count down. This is what you wanted to do today, huh? Was watch my big old hand move back and forth. All right. Okay, so it beeped. I'm going to take that off, and then this does say to do a cool peel. So I'm going to pull the tape off, but I'm not going to pull that off just yet. Now, while we're doing multiple colors on this hat, this one might take a little bit longer. On the other that I'm going to do today, we are just doing one color so that you don't have to sit here and watch me pull all of these apart. Okay, so So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and we will come right back as soon as that is cooled. All right, so that is cooled down, and I removed the backing, and I only let it cool for just a couple of minutes. So next, I want to take my red star, and I'm going to, again, trim that down just a little bit on the bottom so that it'll be right up next to the brim of the hat. And we're just going to lay it a little bit right there. I love this mesh. You can see the little stars poking out. I will tell you that it made it not difficult to weed, but maybe a little more, not difficult, just challenging. I don't know what the right word was. It was not hard. I don't want you to think that it was hard. It worked. It was just a little bit different than normal vinyl, but it worked great. Okay, so we've got this all taped down. I'm not going to preheat this one. So let me pull back up. We're going to go done, and we're just going to do the same one that we did. The last, oops, you can't see that. We're going to hit Everyday Iron On Mesh, the last one that we did, and we're going to send it to the heat, or send it to the heat press, and it's already preheated, and I've already heated this up, and it's still just a little bit warm, so I'm going to skip the heat process, and we're going to just do this again. So I'm going to push that green button on the top, and we're going to move it back and forth for another minute. That has cooled down. I've removed the tape. We're going to go ahead and pull the backing off now. I'm just kind of doing it really slow. Oh, there's a couple spots that maybe it didn't quite stick to. I need to maybe read up on how to do multicolored ones, although my other hat with the multicolored did great. So it looks like maybe it might have stuck now to that white one, the first layer that I did. So I might, if I were to do this again, I don't think I would do the full 60 minutes on the first two. I think I'd do it just enough to get it to stick so that when I pull this up, it's not gonna stick to the one that's already down there, if that makes sense. We'll do some research. We'll keep playing. All right, so there is my red and my white. Yeah, that one did. And now we're going to take our last one, which is the blue. One more time, trim that bottom up a little bit. And let's tape it. And I am using the same tape that I've used for this hat the whole time. And actually, you know what? I'm going to take some of this from before and cover up the rest of that vinyl so that it doesn't melt. And as I explained before, the tape is okay if it's over the vinyl. It's not going to change how it heats up. So we're going to go back and get our app one more time. I'm going to push done for the last one. Move this over here. We're going to do the Everyday Iron On that I just did, the same project that I did. Send settings to the hat press. It's already hot. I'm going to skip the warm up, and we're going to just go ahead and iron again. I did mention yesterday in the video that I had a walnut allergy, and this form is filled with walnut shells. Let me clarify. When I say I have an allergy, I don't mean I eat a walnut and I stop breathing or anything like that. If I have a cookie or something with walnuts in it, sometimes I'll get a little bit of an itchy throat. It's not life or death. I have not had a single problem with this form. Now, if you have a full-blown walnut allergy, you might want to be a little bit careful. But for me, it has not been a problem. Okay, I'm just going to pull this off. Oh, let's see where we're at. Okay, take that off. And it looks like everything has stuck down. So once again, I'm going to turn the camera off, and when this cools down, we'll come back and remove everything and see what we have. All right, so I think that's pretty cool. It's still just a little bit warm, but I think it's okay. So we're going to go ahead and just peel all this up. So that was the first layer of backing that I put on there to protect that red star. And we'll go ahead. Let's just peel this up. Oh, it's just stuck down nice and beautiful. That red one maybe not, but everything else is looking absolutely beautiful. It did melt again a little bit onto that white star. So if I were to do this again, I think what I would do is, instead of layering all the white, yeah, see how it's pulling some of that out? If I were to do this again, I would put all of my vinyl on one layer of backing and do it all at once so that it didn't melt that. But even with that, it looks so cute. You can see the little stars cut out of the big stars. This one, I know it's just the way the stars are. It's fine. So that is the Cricut Hat. I am just really, really happy with that. We're going to go ahead and take this off the back. So there is the Cricut hat with the mesh vinyl. Love this. Love this. I'm really happy with this. I will wear this one again. So let's set that aside, and then I'm going to show you another one that I did. So this hat is actually from Michaels. It is 80% polyester, 20% cotton. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. And I think this one cost around $3 at Michaels. I'm going to open it up. And we're going to flip everything out and put it right back on our hat form. And I'm going to do some glitter vinyl with this one. So let's make sure this is on here all nice and snug. I can already tell that this hat is a little bit cheaper and not near as well made as the Cricut hat. But we'll see what it does, right? Okay, so that is all ready to go. And then I cut out this saying. It says "Boom y'all." I don't know if you can see that. Boom y'all. This is one of my designs from Paper Closet Designs, and we're going to go ahead and use that. And it is cut out of the glitter vinyl, the Cricut glitter vinyl. So let me go back in to my app, and this time we are going to start a new project. So we want the transfer material is a glitter iron-on. And then instead of a Cricut blank, we're going to come up here to, I'm going to just do polyester. There's a little bit of cotton in there, but not much. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. It tells us the same thing that it did before, except that we're going to heat it only to 280 degrees. That's probably so the polyester won't melt. We're going to do a heat for a preheat for 5 seconds. Press for 60 seconds and do a cool peel. So I'm going to go ahead and send settings to Hat Press. And it looks like it needs to cool down because it's at 330, which was what I was using the other hat for. So it needs to cool down for just a minute. And it looks like it's going to take about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off, and then we'll come back when that is ready to go. It looks like we're ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead. While I was doing this, I'm going to show you something. This hat actually tore when I was putting it on there. So, Michael's hat. Already, I can tell you Cricut hats like them a lot better. Okay, we're going to go ahead and heat that up. Just run this back and forth. Okay, it says it's preheated. So now we're going to take our glitter and we're going to just line it up there and tape it on. This says boom ya all. So I am doing all patriotic hats because I'm doing a TV segment next week and they want patriotic. So you could do this with any design, obviously, but we're doing lots and lots of patriotic hats today. Tape this down. Okay, so this tape is starting to lose its sticky. I did a total of 3 hats with it. I don't know that I would do any more than that. In fact, I'm going to get some more tape and put that down because it is losing its ability to stick. And we don't want that vinyl floating around when we do this. Okay, it's all ready. It looks like it's all laying down pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and push the go button. And looks like that's done. Okay, we're going to let that cool and then we will come back and check it out. Okay, it looks like that has cooled down, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape and the backing. And that has stuck down perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That looks really good. So let's go ahead and open that up and take it out. Yeah, that looks great. It's stuck down. It looks really, really good. Okay, so the next one we're going to try is another hat. This is also a polyester hat, and I bought this at the dollar store. And we're going to do another design. Whoops, it stuck to the table. Hooray for the USA, and this is just cut from your everyday vinyl. So let's go ahead and put that on there. And actually, I'm not even sure what this one is. It doesn't say made in the USA, but it doesn't say anything about what it's made out of. I'm going to go with polyester because it feels a lot like that other hat that I did from Michael's. It does have the plastic in the back. So let's see what happens with this one. We're going to go ahead and pull the liner out. Place it on there really snug. This one might be a little bit harder to get on there so snug. Okay. There we go. Whoops. Yep, see, it's just moving all over the place. I don't know. Okay, that might be the best we can get that on there. Okay, go ahead and turn on our app again. We're done with that one. We're going to still do, I'm going to start a new project. Bring this over here. Start a new project. This time the transfer material is just our everyday iron-on. And we're going to go with polyester again, I'm guessing. Hit next. Send to Hat Press. It's still the same settings that we did before. So it's only 300 or 200 and what was it? I can't remember now. Oh, it's got to heat back up because I let it cool down a little bit while we were letting that other hat cool. 12 seconds. That is just not on there very tight. While that heats up, I'm going to try and do it one more time. That plastic in the back makes this almost impossible to get that on there nice and tight. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and heat it up for 5 seconds. Okay, it's done. And then we're going to tape this on. Now, one thing I do like about this dollar store hat is there's not a seam down the middle of it. So far, every hat we've done has had that seam, and this one doesn't seem to. And this again says cool peel, so I will be back. Okay, so that's cooled down. Let's go ahead and take this off. Oh, it didn't quite stick right in that one corner. And it's still not sticking in some of those. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this up one more time. It might be the hat. In fact, I suspect it probably is. But we're going to go ahead and heat it up one more time and then remove it. All right, back to this hat. Now, I ironed it and I let it cool down and I started to peel it and it was still peeling off a little bit. So I bumped the temperature on the heat press up to the middle line, the middle setting, and then I just did it manually for about 30 seconds. So we're going to take this off and see what happens. Let's go ahead. I've cooled it down. It's completely cool. And it looks like it is still just not sticking 100%. I did, while I was waiting for this to cool down, I did get online and look these up. And they are 100% polyester. Yeah, see, it's just not even sticking. So I'll play around with this a little bit more offline, but I'm thinking Dollar Tree stores, not the best hat. So let's go ahead and take that off. And I've got one more hat that we want to do today, and that is this little hat. Now, these are kids' hats. I saw this at Hobby Lobby. I think it was about $4. And I just have a brand new little grandson. And although this would be way too big for him now, maybe by the fall it will fit him. So I grabbed it. We're going to see what it is. So I looked it up to see what it was made of because the tag doesn't say. And it did not say. So we are going to, it feels pretty heavy and it feels a lot like the Cricut hat does. So we're going to go with cotton poly. And because it's a kid's hat, it's not going to fit the form in the front like the bigger hats do. So I'm going to put it on its end, the form, and then put this on one end and see how tight we can get that. I'm going to pull the lining down and get that as tight as we possibly can. I think that might have been part of the problem with that Dollar Tree hat, was I just couldn't get it very tight either. Okay, so this one also does not have the seam in the middle. Let's pull up our app and we're going to do a new project. So the vinyl that I'm going to use, I cut this out. It says, I love my grandma. And it is just the iron-on metallic, everyday iron-on metallic. And we're going to do this with a cotton poly blend. And we're going to hit next. And it needs to heat up to 350, which we're already at. We're going to warm it for 5 minutes. Preheat for 5 seconds. We're going to press for 60 and then do a cool peel. So let's go ahead. Oh, send settings to press. I'm going to go ahead and warm that up for 5 seconds. That's good. Then we're going to take our little I Love My Grandma, center that up, and get some tape. We're going to just do a whole bunch of new tape for this one. Okay, I think that's ready. It's on there good. So we're going to take our little heat press, hat press, push the button, and then just all right, so I finished pressing that and it is all cooled down. So we're going to go ahead and remove the tape and the backing. I'm just going to kind of do it slow. Oh, that is just coming off perfect, perfect, perfect. It did pick up a little bit of the texture of the hat behind it, but not a big deal. It looks, wow, I love that. Beautiful. I love my grandma. And I like the metallic because on this hat, it's not so bold and in your face. Just love that. All right, so overall review. The heat press, the hat press, absolutely 100% in love with it. I'd recommend it. I love it. I love hats, like I said earlier. I see all my friends and family getting hats for birthdays and Christmas this year. I absolutely love it. Let's go over the different types of hats that we just did. So I'm going to start with the Dollar Tree hat. Throw that puppy in the garbage, or better yet, don't even buy it. Still not even sure what this is made out of. I think it said polyester when I looked it up, but it didn't do anything. And in fact, when I turned it over and looked on the inside, the lining had started to melt. So Dollar Tree store hats might be good for other things, but not for heat press. Next up, we did the one from Michaels, and it worked really well. This one I did with the glitter. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but that's a glitter vinyl, and it worked really good. I like the way it turned out. The hat is not the best constructed hat, but if you were doing a bunch of these for like a family reunion or something, they would work, and it looks good. I would wear this hat. I like it. The Amazon hat, still, I really like this one. It pressed really well. I know I didn't do a demo with this one. Maybe I will later. This did the 2 colors. I really liked that one. It looked good. This one I don't have any complaints about. My 2 favorite, however, are, I love this one. I bought this one at Hobby Lobby. I love my grandma. I just think this turned out so cute. It fit the hat form really well. This is a keeper. Definitely like this one. As far as the hats go, my all-time favorite is the Cricut hat. It's very durable. It pressed really well. I did have a little problem with the vinyl, but I think that was more user error, and I'm going to do another video on how to do multiple colors on the Cricut hat. But this is my favorite hat, and this will be my go-to. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe below, and have a great day.